This presentation will walk you through the process of collecting Twitter data using API. From understanding Twitter's API to Python code implementation, we will learn how to access, filter, and save Twitter data for analysis, providing valuable insights from this social media platform. I will start by giving you a brief introduction to Twitter and the Twitter Application Programming Interface, API. Explain step by step what you need to do to access the Twitter API and guide you through the existing endpoints, tweet fields, and how to create rules. We will then dive into the code by exploring an endpoint that allows us to collect tweets posted in the last week. I will finish with a couple of tips and useful resources. Understand Twitter's role as a dataset source. Twitter is a social media platform where people share anything from daily life updates to opinions. It can therefore provide us with a great crowdsourced dataset. Twitter data has been used extensively in research and with applications for social good. Learn how to collect data from the Twitter API. We'll talk about the two versions of the Twitter API, Twitter API version 1.1 and v2. In order to collect data from the Twitter API, you need to follow the steps below. Register as a Twitter user. Apply for a developer account. Create your first app by giving it a unique name and copy your credentials, API key, API secret and bearer token, to a secure location. You'll get access to your developer portal dashboard, where you'll have information about your projects and project apps, together with relevant information such as your monthly tweet cap usage as well as date and time when your monthly cap will reset. Make requests to the Twitter API. The Twitter API is composed of multiple endpoints, each represented by a URL. Simply put, different endpoints allow you to do different tasks or access the data in different ways. There are endpoints available for tasks such as collecting data, e.g., tweets, user information, volume of tweets, and making actions, e.g., post, delete tweets, like, unlike tweets, follow, unfollow accounts. You can explore the existing endpoints by going to your developer portal and clicking on Twitter API v2 under Products, on the left-hand sidebar. This page contains detailed information about each endpoint for every single access level. A link to the docs page, rate limit, and special attributes such as query length. Some of the most interesting endpoints are the data collection ones. The table below summarizes key information about a selected list of endpoints. Creating rules to query the Twitter API. Before we dive into the code to collect Twitter data, I will briefly introduce you to rules and queries. Endpoints such as the search tweets and filtered stream deliver tweets that match on a set of rules you define. These rules are created with operators that match on a variety of tweet attributes such as tweet text, tweet location, and biolocation. Each endpoint has a set of available operators, which also change with the access level. It is important to note that it has precedence over OR. Cat OR black dog would be evaluated as cat OR black dog. Black dog OR cat would be evaluated as black dog OR cat. Hence, when in doubt, the best approach is to always use parenthesis. Our example, black cat OR black cats dogs is retweet, collects tweets that contain exact matches on at least one of the expressions. Black cats, do not have dog or dogs as tokens, are not retweets. Explore tweet fields. Instead of retrieving all possible information associated with each tweet, Twitter API v2 allows you to choose which fields you want for your analysis. Without specifying the fields you want to collect, by default the data object will only come with the tweet identifier, id, and tweet text. Fields are aggregated in the following objects: tweet, user, place, media, poll, space, and list. The previous links will take you to the respective full list of data dictionaries. The table below summarizes information for the tweet, user, and place objects. Now that you are familiar with the existing endpoints, available operators, and tweet fields, we can dive into the Python code to retrieve Twitter data. We'll start by making a very simple request to the recent search endpoint using heat pumps as our use case. Use case: the Sustainable Future mission at Nesta is focused on projects to help decarbonize UK homes, with special interest in greener heating systems such as heat pumps. For those who are not familiar with the concept, a heat pump is a low-carbon heating system that captures heat from outside and moves it into your home. Let's have a go at collecting tweets mentioning heat pumps. Environment variables: the first thing you should do before running any Python code is to set your environment variables in the terminal. To do that, open your terminal and type the following: export bearer underscore token equals add underscore your underscore bearer underscore token underscore here, and replace add underscore your underscore bearer underscore token underscore here with your bearer token credentials. This way you can import your credentials into your code without exposing them to others. You can now launch Jupyter Notebook in the same terminal window where you defined your environment variable. Learn about Python code setup. We start by loading the Python packages we need and our bearer token credentials. Utilize the recent search endpoint. We will use the recent search endpoint to collect our first tweets. Set the endpoint URL for recent tweets. Define criteria for collecting tweets. We then define the query parameters. In this example, we want to collect tweets matching on at least one of the expressions heat pump, heat pumps, written in English and that are not retweets. We are interested in the following tweet fields: the tweet unique identifier, the tweet text, the identifier of the user posting the tweet, and the date, time the tweet was created. Each call to the endpoint will deliver 10 tweets. After that, we set up request headers for data collection and define the request headers and request the data by connecting to the endpoint. The request underscore headers function creates a dictionary with the authentication details. Then, we connect to the endpoint using the connect underscore to underscore endpoint function. We feed the endpoint URL, the authentication details, and the request parameters as our function parameters. If all goes well, we expect our request to come back with a 200 status code. Understand Twitter data limitations. Twitter has more restrictions on API-free accounts, reporting when authenticating requests to the Twitter API v2 endpoints. You must use keys and tokens from a Twitter developer app that is attached to a project. You can create a project via the developer portal. Error. Upon inquiry, a fee is required and cannot be demonstrated here. Next step. Proceed to Tweepy library setup. Install Tweepy library. Import the Tweepy library. Then fetch user information. Same limitation of free API. When authenticating requests to the Twitter API v2 endpoints, you must use keys and tokens from a Twitter developer app that is attached to a project. Next step. API version 1.1. Import Tweepy library. Set up keys and tokens. List data of the tweets underscore df data frame. Check the tweets, 0, content. Save Twitter data to a CSV file. Congrats! You have reached the end of this presentation and you should now be able to collect Twitter data from the API and Tweepy. In this presentation, we learned how to access Twitter data through the API. From setting up query rules and Python code to saving data in a CSV file, you are now equipped to efficiently collect and analyze Twitter data for various purposes. Before you go, I would like to leave you with a couple of resources I have gathered that might prove useful when navigating the Twitter API. 1. Official Twitter developed documentation. 2. Official Tweepy developed documentation. 3. Twitter Community Forum. Please review the resource links in the document for this presentation.